What's cracking, everybody? Welcome to Prison Break. This is Prison Break Raw, brought to you by Stand for Something Life Incorporated. I'm your host, the one and only JD Rutherford. Go ahead and give this channel a subscribe, a thumbs up, a like, leave some comments, messages, whatever. I read all that shit. And with that said, all you internet trolls, beware, be forewarned. Leave some funky ass troll shit at your own risk. You want to come up on here and you want to be a skinny pants gangster internet soldier tapping away at your keys talking about how much you think you know about this shit when you probably ain't nowhere at all except stuck in your mom's basement or on your grandma's couch playing some Fortnite thinking you're all that. You ain't shit, right? You're going to learn just how fast you ain't shit on this channel right here, because this is no holds barred, uncut, uncensored, in your face, brutally honest, take no prisoners. Shock and awe is how you're going to get this. This is prison life, prison living. I'm basically going to help you cultivate a stronger sense of security in yourself, a little more confidence, put your self-esteem up higher, teach you how to become an individual, break you free from that collective mind herd mentality, and put you on the fast track to becoming an individual, a survivor, and a sense of freedom and accomplishment in your life. There's a lot of different directions we're going to be going on this. Like I said, it's going to be based upon everything that I learned. All the game and all the knowledge that I was given over my life, I used it for bad. Now I'm going to be using it for good. And I'm going to teach it to you in a way that's kind of almost like Star Wars, right? You got the Force and you got the dark side. I was living on the dark side for so long. Now I basically use that shit for the right side. There's a lot of different avenues in which criminal justice reform. I'm a criminal justice reformer and a prison abolitionist myself. I believe the system's all fucked up. It's a joke. Doesn't do anything to help anybody. And it just continues to lock people in like cattle, man. It's just like an endless supply of cattle going in and out of those places. I'm looking to cut off that supply. And I'm doing it this route, right? You got all these other people that are going the soft route, that are going the nice guy route. Somebody's got to be the bad guy on all this. Somebody's got to basically tell you, I ain't your friend, but I'm here to give you some friendly pieces of advice out of respect for yourself and those that you're going to be harming, your victims, namely your parents, your kids, your wives, your husbands, whatever it is. All those people that you're harming, we're going to set all that shit right. We're going to get into basically what the problem is with a lot of this generation right now. Now, I'm a Generation Xer, and I feel responsible pretty much for the way a lot of people are in this day and age, right? So when we were coming up in my day, basically, we learned a lot of the game from the veteranos and everything coming out of the 70s and 80s. We soaked up all that knowledge and all that game. We didn't really pass it forward. We were too caught up and too concerned with ourselves. We didn't want to, really share it. We let the buck stop right there. So many of us were, caught up in crime, basically self-centeredness, drugs, and the likes, and that shit just kind of, you were all just left to be raised by the cream puffs and the ultra emotional type of people that were left to fill the void of the strong men and women that weren't there to really, guide you in that direction. And basically all that, everybody gets a first prize place when they run a race, and everybody's feelings need to be respected, and we need to walk around on eggshells and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's all fine and good if you're fragile, but we're going to teach you how to be strong. We're going to teach you how to be strong prison style, survivor convict way. And I'm using that power for the good right now. So I'm going to get a lot of mixed emotions, a lot of mixed reviews on this. I'm going to make a lot of people mad. But you know what? That's what I'm here for. I'm here to make you mad. I'm here to piss you the fuck off. I'm here to be all up in your face. Somebody's got to take this road in this fight to help you. Because obviously ain't nothing working for a lot of you. I still see a lot of this funny ass weird shit that goes on. I mean, I feel like almost like I'm in the Twilight Zone sometimes. And I look around and the expression, it's kind of a derogatory term now, is called snowflake, but it's a fitting one. It's a fitting one for many of you. Many of you are snowflakes, soft as fucking cotton. Now, I'm not going to get on here and talk about how bad it would have been on you in my day, and you wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes in the 90s or in the 80s in the prison system, because that goes without saying. You wouldn't have lasted 5 fucking seconds in any of them joints back then. Now, I've been on a couple of other shows. I've been on several podcasts, several interviews. I just recently went on a YouTube channel, Lockdown 23-1, for those of you that seen me, with Josh, and got a lot of comments in the feed. I read every single comment on there. And you got them clowns that get on there talking about, I would have done this and I would have done that. I would have been about this, that. No, you wouldn't have, man. You wouldn't have done a motherfucking thing, all right? That LA County jail, that California prison system back in them days were fucking brutal. It was deadly, man. People were getting murdered regularly in the streets, in Lone. People were getting shot in often record numbers. Man, there was drive-by shootings, people getting smoked right and left, people getting stabbed up, robbed, all that stuff. This little shit you guys got going on nowadays, talking about murking people and doing all these things, weak, man. It's really weak. And I could give you a lot of examples, because the last time I was out there running, like going harder than the paint in the streets, was in 2012 before I caught that bank robbery that sent me to the feds. So we're going to get into all that, man. I'm going to break your snowflake ass down. I'm going to break you all the way down, and I'm going to make you think. I'm going to make you take a good, long, hard look in the mirror, and you're going to ask yourself, do I really want to go down this road? Do I really want to be a criminal and go up into the prison system and experience all this shit? Because that's where you're heading. If you're watching this channel and you're on that time, you're running around, you're hustling, wheeling, and dealing, you might be like banging in the streets, doing whatever you think is cool or G-like, with your skinny pants on, with your little brother's shirt and your little sister's pants, thinking you looking hella tough when you ain't. I mean, I'll give you an example. Man, I was at the gas station. This wasn't too long ago, and this kid ran up on me and was banging on me like, where are you from? I took a look at this kid with his V-neck tight-ass shirt and his little tiny little sister's size super sexy pants on and his big old freaking shoes. And I couldn't help but to stop laughing, man. I mean, it was the funniest thing that I had ever seen. If that dude would have ran up on me back when I was his age, I would have probably filled him full of holes, straight up. Because it's just, I mean, look, man, if you wanna dress like that, all cool and shit, do it, man. But don't say you a G and you a gangster. Because if you go in the system looking hella silly like that, man, somebody's gonna stick something in your rear end. If you go to one of them sodomy-friendly type prisons, somebody's going to stick something right in that skinny little ass of yours, and you're going to feel it, man. It's going to be rosy, and it's going to hurt. So I'm going to give you a lot of tips. If this is the route you choose to go, if you want to be involved in crime, you want to run like that, you want to listen to all these clowns, these lame-ass, fake, phony Tekashi 6ix9ine and these Cardi B's and all the rest of these clowns that all they do is tell on each other, and they're in PC whenever they go into the prison system, but you think that's where it's at. If you want to be that, well, you're not going to get the special preferential celebrity treatment that they're getting. You're going to go straight to the war zone. Especially as a youngster, you're going to get caught up in one of these war zones. And let me break down just exactly what you're in store for if in case that does happen to you. In California, the feds, and I do got a lot of knowledge on all these other states as well. I've been all up and down the state of California. I've been in almost every prison you can think of. I've been in Wasco, Delano, Centinela, Calipatria, Donovan, Salinas Valley, San Quentin, Tracy, Solano. Been all up in that shit, right? I've been in the LA County Jail, the Orange County Jail, the Sacramento County Jail, over across into the Midwest, the South. I've been in Randall County Jail, Texas, Potter County Jail, Texas. I've been in the Oklahoma City Transfer Center. I've been in Grady County, Oklahoma, and I've been in Florence Correctional Institution, Federal Correctional Institution in Florence, Colorado. So I've been around, done a lot of time, been doing this since the early 90s. I've seen it all, and I've seen all kinds of different people. And it's pretty much the same. Prisons is the same. It doesn't ever change. It's timeless, pretty much. You got the same kind of people all the time, and you got all the same types that are making all the same mistakes that I've seen for years. In the starting out, when I first went in there, my first experience of going in there, and I was young, man. I was young. I wasn't even 21 yet. And I'm sitting there and I'm eating my dinner, and all of a sudden I feel all this hot shit hit me on the back of my neck and on the back of my head, because my head was shaved. It was like hot water. I thought somebody spilled coffee on me, right? I'm like, what the fuck, man? I went to grab it and looked at it, It was blood. I turned around. I mean, you're really not supposed to pay attention. Everybody else, nobody else was looking. But then again, I didn't know because I was young. I just, what the hell hit me? I turned around and looked, and these dudes were just murdering this dude in the chow hall lines, just cutting him up, carving him up. Everybody got down. They shot the little gas in there and sprayed these dudes, and the rest is history. They got murder beefs on them. What this man did to get killed, I have no idea. Probably did something stupid, and we're going to talk about some of these stupid things that you could possibly do, the mistakes that you could make that could possibly put you in that same situation. So we'll get into that and hopefully to distract you from that. Because that's really my goal. Like I said, if you're going to go to prison, I'm gonna try to guide you through to at least to where maybe you can half-ass survive if you at least follow this advice. If you choose not to go to prison, then we'll get into that as well, and I'll tell you all about how I made it outside, basically being considered totally institutionalized, 99.9% likely to reoffend within the first few months of release. Not a prayer or a chance in hell that I was ever going to succeed. But then again, here I am, author of 2 books. Been out for over 2 years now, author of 2 books, started my own nonprofit organization, got a roof over my head, just bought a new car, got credit cards, got money in the bank, and pretty much got the probation off my back because there's really no reason to really monitor me anymore. My whole life is ahead of me at this point. Nobody ever thought I was going to do it. I'll show you how to do it. I'll tell you how I did it. But first, I want to address all you knuckleheads out there because that's what this one's all about. Shock and awe on you fake ass little phonies that think you're all bad, but you're snowflaked out the game. You got no emotional intelligence. You got 0 cognitive thinking abilities, reasoning skills, none of that shit. You got no kind of etiquette, no kind of manners. I mean, anybody in a generation that likes to play drop, walking around hitting just some random old person, you some real weak ass fucking weenie fucking kids, man. If you think that shit's cool. And then all these other weirdos that you follow that you think are all gangstered out. Not. All right? So you're heading to the prison system, right? Let's just say you go into the California prison system. Now, there's a lot of you out there that you just don't understand prison politics, and you think it's all about racism, and it's all about this, and it's all about... That's your political correctness, your entitlement, snowflakeness getting the better of you. I'm going to tell you right now, piece of advice, lose that shit. Lose that shit the minute you hit that yard. Lose it or basically PC up and go to the sensitive needs yard. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't lose it, somebody's going to lose it for you on your ass. And it's going to be your ass. You're going to get fucked up. You may even get some hard candy if you come across the right person. So, you're going up into the prison system. It's full of politics. I hate to break it to you. I hate to be the one to burst your little bubble in your fantasy land. But it's not all kumbaya, everybody holding hands, everybody getting along. I don't care if you're a white kid or a Chicano and you run with all black kids on the streets. The minute you hit one of them hardcore level 4, level 3 yards in California, you can forget all that shit. Because you're not going to be holding hands with your homie in there. Unless you want to run that route. If that's what you're running, if you're running like Crip or Blood or something like that, be prepared for basically probably getting murdered. Because if you hit one of them level 4 yards, and one of them skinheads or them white power dudes see you, or even on the Sureño side, if they see you doing it, you're going to get stabbed, man. And they really don't care what the repercussions are. And 9 out of 10 times, all these other dudes in these Blood and Crip gangs, they're not going to back you up unless they know you from the streets. They don't give a fuck. They're not going to back you up most of the time. I don't care what anybody want to come on here and tell me. I've seen it, man. I seen that shit in Centinela one time. This dude thought he was going to run around talking about he was from some Crip gang in the valley. And the white boys stabbed him, man. They stabbed him up good. Nobody did anything about it. Nobody helped him. Why would they? I mean, if you ain't from one of the big gangs, if you ain't one of those big, deep gangs and you put in a lot of work and you're known, you're not going to walk that yard, man. As simple as that. The SNY yard's full of a lot of them dudes that thought they could and they couldn't. So that right there is going to be a culture shock for your ass in itself. Another one is when you go to the laundry and you go to get your clothes, please don't get size super sexy pants running around there with some tight ass pants. You're going to draw some unwanted attention to yourself. People are going to clown you. You're going to be in for it, right? Just get some pants that actually fit you or a little bigger for you. Because somebody's going to probably make you want to carry their fierro for them. The llavero on that yard or the shot caller or whoever is running it, might see that you're a youngster and they might try to test you. You got to carry that piece. How you going to look wearing your skinny ass little pants with a big ass knife stuck in it? You're going to get busted real fast. So go ahead and lose that, losing the skinny pants. The political correctness is out the window because ain't nothing political correct about a prison yard. You're going to find that out real fast when you get there. Like I said, if you're going to hit that GP yard, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. You better learn to adapt, turn your ass into a chameleon, and adjust to that shit, because that's what it is. It's divided like that on politics for many different reasons. This is a lot of sweat, blood, and tears, and hard work that's happened over the years. And it's really quite simple if you think about it. In a prison setting, like for myself, when you're like a sureño, you run in the South, it's basically a situation of convenience and security and camaraderie. You know that you're going to have like 5 or 6 dudes that are going to watch your back at all times, maybe even more, and you're going to watch their back. Because you got a lot of predatory type of people in prison. I mean, let's face it, prison's not exactly where they send saints. It's not a monastery up in the Himalayas. So you got a lot of different kind of predators in there, people that will prey on you. If there were no politics in there, it'd be every man for himself, and people would be getting straight butt raped in the shower, their commissary canteen taken from them, beat up, basically pressured up out of their cell. If you got a good cell, you wouldn't have nothing unless you learned how to fight. And then you're going to end up catching yourself a murder case because you're going to have to stab somebody in order to get the respect that way. So a lot of these things were set up in order to prevent a lot of that predatory behavior, because you don't know what the next side has in its car. You don't know like what kind of people they have. You don't know if they're checking paperwork. You might have some dude who's got like 6,000 rapes on his jacket, and you have no idea. I know we check all our paperwork, but I can't say the same for the next group of people that are standing about 30 to 40, maybe 100 feet away from me. I don't know what's going on over there. So, and you don't know either. And you have no idea who's what anyways once that cell door shut. You get some guy in there who's been in there a long time. He may look at your sweet ass. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, I've never seen that kind of stuff go on because, like I said, the politics fixed all that. And the politics also prevents something else. Let's say, you're black and you want to gamble with some dude that's white over the Super Bowl. Next thing you know, the game's over. You win. That dude tells you, fuck you, punk, I ain't paying you. What's going to happen? You think it's just going to be a one-on-one fight between you and him? No, that whole yard's going to erupt into a riot. And it's going to be like that because even if there wasn't no politics, right? Who knows how many homies you got, how many associates. You gangbanging on the streets, and you got like 10 of your own homies from your neighborhood with you. And this is just some regular, average, ordinary white dude from like Bakersfield somewhere. And all of you pile on him and jump him because that's how it's going to go down. It happened to me, man. When I first went into the LA County jail, some dude tried to get me for my shoes. When I told him no, he came back with all his people. Now, there weren't no politics in that little section right there, holding cell waiting to go upstairs. I had to fight for mine. I got to keep my shoes because I stood up for mine. I got beat up really bad, but I stood up for mine. And funny thing about that, right, is I read some comments on the other show that I was on where people were like, well, how come you didn't stand up and protect that other little white dude who's getting his shoes taken? Are you fucking out of your goddamn mind, you fucking idiot? Do you really think that I'm going to get up and take another beating for some clown that didn't even get up for me in the first place? That's the problem that I have with a lot of people in your generation. You're just so weird, man, with some of these ways that you think. You honestly believe. Would you do that? I don't think you would do that either. Who the fuck in their right mind would do that? It just doesn't make any sense at all. So go ahead and forget about all that, right? That's what the politics prevents. So the minute like I got upstairs and everything changed and I seen my old lady's dad, I chose to roll that. I didn't have to. I chose that road. And I chose that road for a lot of different reasons. And I don't really need to explain myself to any of you motherfuckers out there, right? I did what I did, but guess what? I survived. I came out of the system in one piece. Never PC'd up, never locked it up, never got stabbed up, never got dirty paperwork, never got ran off the yard. In all these 20 some odd years of going in and out of some of the most roughest prisons in this country and county jails, I made it out in one piece without a scratch. So what does that tell you? My resume speaks for itself, bona fide. So if I'm giving you this kind of game, it's obvious that it's legit. You want to question it, I don't really care. But what I'm telling you is this is how it is. If this is what you're looking to do, you're looking to get up in the system like that, this is what you're going to be in store for. This is what you're looking at. This is what it is. And you better get used to it, because you ain't going to go in there and run your own program. You ain't going to go in there and just do whatever the fuck you think you want to do. They're going to shut that shit down real fast. And I can't give it to you any more plain than that. Now, going up into the federal system, a little bit different. The federal prison that I went to, you did have those people that were rolling independent. They were, rolling solo by themselves with no car affiliation or anything like that. Guess what? They sat at a little tiny table all by themselves with all kinds of different people in there with all kinds of various different funny, strange charges on their jacket. People that were hiding out, people that you couldn't trust, people that you definitely couldn't count on if somebody's going to bring it to you. And it was always the same thing. It may not have happened to every single one of them, but at any given time, somebody can come up on you, and you could be in that bad situation and you're backed into that corner where it's you against a whole damn car, because everybody else is clicked up according to their state, according to what gang they're from, whatever it is. You could say that you're not a gang member and you're not going to click up. Well, guess what? If you're a Nebraska white boy, you're going to run with the Nebraska white boys. You're a California white dude, you're going to run California white dudes. If you're a Sureño, you're going to run Sureño. If you're just Mexican or Chicano, chances are they're going to make you run with the Paisas, right? If you're from Texas, you're going to run Texas. So on and so forth. If you're a gangster disciple, you run a GD. If you're a Vice Lord, you run a Vice Lord. Latin King, you run a Latin King. And that's what it is. If you want to be that independent dude talking about how you're a Christian or you're this or you're that, then you'll go sit at that little table and you ain't got nothing, right? You're last for everything. If there's any kind of leftovers for anything, you might get a little bit of something, but that's about it. Even the Muslims in prison have a strong car. Unlike the Christians, they will ride for each other. They'll kill you too if you fuck with one of them. So this is what prison life is all about. This is the shit that you hear about, but it seems to go in one ear and out the other. You don't seem to want to retain this stuff for whatever reason. But if you're going to go in there, there's some things that really you need to understand right now. Politics, they're there. If you're in one of them states that don't have any politics and everybody's running around all crazy and psycho, all living together like pigs, well then I hope you know how to fight, because there are gangs in those prisons as well. And if you don't you don't know how to fight, or you don't know how to protect yourself, you're going to get preyed on in every single one of them. It's inevitable. It's going to happen to you. And like I said, if you're one of them sodomy-friendly prisons, you're going to get something stuck in your ass real fast. So these are things to consider, like the politics of it all. Is, do you really want to click up and have associates, people that are going to have your back? A lot of you say, nah, man, I'm going to be like that solid dude. You're going to be like that guy that you see on TV where he's just walking around. Everybody moves out of the way of him, and he's all by himself, and he's like the biggest, meanest, baddest dude. He's like Hancock in that shit. That shit don't ever happen, man. Rarely, if ever, does that shit ever happen. I've never seen it in all the years I've done time. Everybody's clicked up with somebody. But if you think that's what it's going to be, go ahead and give it a shot and tell me how that works out for you. I mean, you go ahead and send me a message from there. Send me a letter. I'll give you my address at the end of this, my P.O. box. Send me a letter and tell me how that individuality worked out for you up in there. How, like, doing your own program worked for you in there. The only time that you could truly be an individual is when you get out, or if you choose to stay out. It's a lot of the collective mindset of whatever influences you got in your life that's either going to push you to prison or to push you into a lifetime prison sentence inside of your own mind. You're going to be self-imprisoned to some kind of hang-up, something that's going on. You might be too sensitive, ultra emotional, worrying about what other people say and do, all that kind of stuff. You'll lose all that in time if you really learn how to be use the convict mentality for the good and to guide you through life in society. But if you're going into prison, the convict code is what you got to learn right here and right now. Now, the convict code is pretty much different no matter where you go, but it's universal in its application in a lot of different factors of it, fundamentals of it. Good etiquette, good personal and hygiene, personal hygiene, respect, knowing your surroundings, knowing who you're dealing with, being aware of everything, and staying up out of everybody else's business. These are like common universal rules right here that you need to get into your mind right here and now. You don't get up in any conversation, you don't approach anybody unless you're approached, and you do your own thing. And it's going to even get so far as if you're in one of these prisons that it's all wild and crazy, like I said, then you might get that guy that approaches you and he's going to want to test your manhood. You got a choice to make at that point in time. You can either take flight on that dude right then and go at it with him, or you could just continue to let them bully you around or pretend like it's not happening, but it's just going to intensify and get worse. When people know they got a victim in their midst, they're going to be on you. They're going to be on you like flies on shit, and you're never going to be able to shake them free. So remember those things, those etiquette rules, and remember it's survival of the fittest in there always. Once you in that under that gun, then everything outside changes. You want to better yourself, you want to do some education, you want to take some classes, you could do all that stuff. But just remember where you're at, and never lose sight of the possibility that something bad can happen to you at any given time if you make one bad decision. If you choose to start getting into debt, some shit's going to happen to you. You choose to start getting high in there, some shit's going to happen to you. You get up into somebody else's business, or you're watching somebody, you're looking at somebody, some shit going down, and you're over there rubbernecking on it, and one of the cops sees it and you get them caught up, you're going to get yourself in some shit that way as well. Keep your shoes on at all time as well. But, I mean, I can't stress these things enough. You know, in the California system, it's pretty easy. You're going to fall up under them politics, like I said, unless you want to go PC, S, and Y. But guess what? You can't escape the politics there either. Because even on these S and Y yards, they got all these northern riders, independent riders, and 2-5ers, and GBGs, gay boy gangsters that are pushing politics in these PC prisons now. So you can't even get away from it there. You're just like, you're fucked. Going up into prison, it's a horrible existence. It sucks. It's not where you want to be. I don't care how bad like this Tekashi 6ix9ine and Cardi B and all them talk how they are. Trust me, man. Listen to some real good, solid people. Find some good, positive role models and steer clear of all this shit. Because I'm going to tell you right now, most of you out there, you ain't cut out for it. You ain't cut like that. You ain't built like that. You ain't tough. Most of you ain't tough at all. So I would suggest you pay heed to this advice. Stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to be talking about somebody very special. You've already heard me mention this person's name a couple of times. And we're going to get our clown on about this person, and we're going to talk about how weak this individual really is and how bad they think they are and they're not. So stick around for this. It's going to continue to go. And we're also going to be talking about a lot of the things on how to stay out and how to break free from that recidivism trap. So sit tight, come back, peace, subscribe, out.